Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive.
It's great to be back.
This time we're going global.
Sounds exciting.
We got 10 amazing stories of kindness from all over the world, all sourced from X. We're going to unpack what makes people do these incredibly generous things and see how these acts, big or small, connect us all.
I love that idea. It's like a tapestry of kindness woven from all these different threads of human experience.
Exactly. And it's a reminder that even in a world that sometimes feels divided, there's this underlying current of compassion connecting us all.
That's really powerful.
So, ready to jump in?
Absolutely.
All right, let's start with those spontaneous moments of kindness, the ones that seem to come out of nowhere. Like the subway Santa in New York.
Yeah.
You know, that typical scene, a crowded subway car, everyone's kind of in their own world.
Yeah, I can picture it.
And then there's this elderly man struggling with these heavy bags.
Oh, I hate when that happens.
Me too. But in this story, someone actually does something about it.
Thank goodness.
This guy, the subway Santa, not only helps with the bags, but actually sits down with the man, they chat for a bit, and he even shares his food.
Wow, that's going above and beyond.
It really is. It challenges that whole stereotype of city dwellers being cold and uncaring.
Right. It makes you wonder if maybe we're just missing all those little acts of kindness happening around us all the time.
Maybe we're just not paying attention.
Exactly. It's like a hidden language of care that we need to tune into.
Ooh, I like that. A hidden language of care.
Mm.
Now, speaking of hidden languages, our next story, The Street Musician's Advocate, takes us to Paris.
Ooh, Paris.
Picture this, a street musician sharing their music with the world, and someone steals their instrument case.
No, their livelihood.
It's awful, right?
Mm-hmm.
But a passerby sees this happen, and instead of just reporting the theft, they actually buy the musician a brand new guitar.
Now that is an amazing act of kindness.
Isn't it? It's not just about replacing the stolen item, it's about ensuring that the music, the art, keeps going.
It's like they're saying, we see you, we value what you do, keep sharing your gift with the world.
Exactly. It's restoring faith, not just for the musician, but for everyone who witnessed it.
Mm.
Okay, so those were two stories about individuals making a difference. But what happens when kindness becomes a community effort?
I'm curious to hear about that.
Well, let's head down to Melbourne for the lost dog rescue. This one starts with a simple post on X, a lost dog, a frantic owner, and the whole city jumps in to help.
Oh, I love those heartwarming stories.
Right. It's like a giant real-life scavenger hunt with everyone using social media updates to guide the search.
And it shows how technology can actually bring people together instead of isolating them.
Totally. And guess what? They found the dog. It's proof that that old-fashioned sense of community is alive and well, even in the digital age.
I love that.
Now let's travel to Moscow, where the Warm Blanket Project is all about bringing warmth to those facing the harsh Russian winters on the streets.
Especially important these days.
Absolutely. It's a group of volunteers who decided to do something to make a difference.
Yeah.
And they didn't just distribute blankets. They actually took the time to talk to people, offer a kind word, a moment of human connection.
It's those little gestures that can mean the world, especially when you're feeling invisible.
Exactly. It's about recognizing someone's humanity, showing them that they matter. And this project inspired similar initiatives all over the world. So a small act of kindness in Moscow creates ripples all over the globe.
That's incredible. It shows you the power of one simple act.
It really does. Now, sometimes the most impactful acts happen in the heat of the moment. Like in the Marathon Buddies story from Brazil, we have a runner right in the middle of this intense competition, and they see a fellow runner struggling.
Oh, I've seen that happen.
And instead of just pushing ahead, they stop and help. They offer support and encouragement, and they end up crossing the finish line together.
Oh, that gives me chills.
It's such a powerful image, right?
Yeah.
It shows that sometimes the greatest victory comes from helping someone else reach their goal.
It challenges that whole win-at-all-costs mentality that we often see.
For sure. It's a beautiful example of how compassion can actually change the rules of the game.
I love that.
Okay, so we've seen acts of kindness that are physical, tangible, but what about those that nourish the mind and spirit?
I'm intrigued.
Well, let's go to Nairobi for the Classroom of Compassion. There's this teacher who noticed that many of her students were coming to school hungry.
No, it's heartbreaking.
It is, and it makes it really hard for them to focus and learn.
Of course.
So this teacher, using her own money, starts a food program for her students.
What an incredible act of selflessness.
It is, and the story went viral on X. leading to a flood of donations that help make the program sustainable.
So inspiring.
It shows how one person's compassion can really mobilize a global community.
It gives me hope.
Me too. And speaking of sharing knowledge and resources, the Book Haven in Edinburgh has this amazing approach to promoting reading.
Tell me more.
They have a pay-what-you-can shelf in their bookstore.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
It removes that financial barrier to books, making knowledge and the joy of reading accessible to everyone.
What a fantastic idea.
Right. It's a reminder that generosity can take so many forms. And sometimes it's about those simple acts of being there for someone, offering a listening ear, a shoulder to lean on.
Human connection is so important.
Absolutely. And that brings us to the unexpected friend story from Tokyo. This young woman, feeling isolated and lonely, reaches out on X, expressing her longing for connection.
I'm already feeling emotional.
And what happens next is just incredible. A group of strangers who saw her post decided to organize a surprise meetup for her at a park.
Wow, that's amazing.
They turned a moment of loneliness into this beautiful celebration of community and friendship.
It just goes to show that even in a huge city like Tokyo, you can find connection in the most unexpected places.
It does. And it highlights the power of vulnerability, of admitting that we need each other. So as we move into the final stories of our deep dive, what stands out to you about these community-driven acts of kindness?
Well, I think it's the reminder that we don't have to face our struggles alone. There's strength in numbers, in shared purpose, in knowing that someone cares. It's about recognizing that together we have the power to make the world a little bit brighter, a little bit kinder.
It really is inspiring to see how people come together. It makes you think about those individual acts of giving, too, the ones that really show a deep understanding of another person's needs.
Right, like in that gift of sight story from India.
Oh, yeah, that one was incredible.
His doctor realized how much of an impact vision loss has, especially for kids who don't have a lot of resources. And so he decides to offer free eye surgeries on Christmas Day.
It's like a gift that keeps on giving,
Yeah.
way beyond just restoring their physical sight.
Exactly. It's about restoring hope, giving them opportunities they wouldn't have had otherwise.
Makes you think about what giving really means.
It does. It's not just about the act itself. It's about the thought behind it, that empathy and understanding of what someone truly needs.
And that idea of using your knowledge and skills to empower others. That's what we see in the Language of Kindness initiative in Canada.
Oh, right. We talked about that one earlier.
It's a great example of how people use their own experiences to help others. These immigrants, they know firsthand how hard it can be to settle in a new country. So they start offering free language classes.
Makes a huge difference.
It's more than just learning the language, though. It's about creating a community, a welcoming space where newcomers can feel like they belong.
It's like they're saying, we've been there, we understand what you're going through, and we're here to help.
Exactly. They're giving the gift of communication, which is so powerful.
And they're helping build a more inclusive society in the process.
Going through all these stories, it's amazing to see how interconnected we all are. Even the tiniest act of kindness can have a ripple effect that goes way beyond what we can imagine.
It's true. We're all part of this intricate web of humanity. And what we do, even those seemingly small things, can make a difference in someone else's life.
It's a humbling thought, but also empowering.
Right. It makes you want to be more mindful of those everyday opportunities to show kindness.
Absolutely.
Oh, no.
And to appreciate the kindness that we receive, too.
Exactly. It's a two-way street, that exchange of care and compassion.
Yeah.
It's what makes us human.
Well said. So, as we wrap up our deep dive into these heartwarming stories from around the world, what's the one thing that'll stick with you?
For me, it's the reminder that kindness truly is a universal language. It goes beyond cultures, beyond borders, beyond even words themselves. These stories show us that there's good in everyone, just waiting to be shared.
It's like we've traveled the world and collected all these amazing stories of human kindness.
It's incredible, right? And they all point to this shared human experience, this desire to connect and care for each other.
Yeah. And seeing all this good happening makes you want to do something yourself, to be part of it.
Absolutely.
It makes you realize we all have the potential to be Subway Santas or marathon buddies in our own lives.
Yeah.
We may not be performing life-changing surgeries or starting global movements, but those small acts of kindness, those everyday gestures, can be just as important.
Absolutely. Think about it, holding the door open for someone, giving a genuine compliment, just listening to a friend who needs to talk.
Yeah, sometimes it's those little things that make the biggest difference.
Right. It all adds up to create a culture of care, this sense that we're all in this together.
And it's important to be open to receiving kindness, too.
Oh, for sure.
Sometimes accepting help can be just as powerful as giving it.
It creates this beautiful cycle, you know? We all need support sometimes, and giving and receiving kindness are both part of that.
It strengthens those bonds between us, reminds us that we're not alone.
That's what makes a community.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into the world of kindness, what's one thought you'll take away from all of this?
That's a good question. I think what resonates with me the most is that kindness isn't something that runs out. The more we give, the more there is to go around.
Kindness as a renewable energy source. I love that image. And it reminds us that we all have the power to be that spark, to ignite another act of generosity, another moment of connection.
Exactly.
So as you go about your day, think about the stories we've shared, about the incredible capacity for kindness that exists within each of us. And ask yourself, what small act of kindness can I offer today?
Maybe it's a smile for a stranger, a helping hand for a neighbor, or a donation to a cause you believe in. Whatever it is, let's keep those ripples of kindness going.
Let's make the world a little brighter, one act of generosity at a time. Thank you so much for joining us on this incredible journey. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and remember the world is full of amazing people doing extraordinary things.